Hello and welcome to the ninth Empires tutorial actually. So in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to set up a mini-map. So basically that's the little thing that indicates where you are on the map, and in the bottom left on command view where where the people are. So what we need to do for this is we have to get an image of our map. So we're going to go ahead and launch the game. So you have to go in-game, and you have to take a picture from up above. There's actually a very nicely written tutorial on the forums. I'll be linking that down in the description. It goes through pretty much everything you need to do, but it has no visuals on it anymore because for some reason the images decided they didn't want to work anymore. So I'll go through that. I'll go through. You'll see me, I'll reference it because there's some specific commands that, of course, I forget because I only use them whenever I need to get a new mini-map, and that's not often. So, yeah, here we go. So we load it into the map. You need to load into the map, and then basically you need to go into console, turn on SV Cheats 1, and you have to load this up in single player. So there we go, there's a nice little houses, command vehicles and everything. And you want to do CL level overview, and then just try out a number first. So this gives you a level overview. So we need to decrease that because you want to have the map fill your whole screen. So something 4. So we need to go back to 5. So there we go. So then just press the F12 key, and generally when you're also making a mini-map, you do not want to have pre-placed buildings on it, otherwise that will show up on your mini-map. So you would not have the refinery there or the barracks there. That would be after you create the mini-map for the map. And you would not have the command vehicles there either, because those will now be, no matter if they move, they will be there on the mini-map. So you're going to hit F12, take a screenshot. And there's a couple other commands you can do. Here, I'll show you the guide. It's right here. So I'll link this down in the description. Here's the command. You want to do draw particle 0, hide panel, CL draw HUD. So I'll go ahead and do that. CL draw HUD 0, CL draw particle. Oops. I forget that command. See? Okay, R draw particles. A little screenshot thing will come up. We want this one because it doesn't have the HUD included. We're just going to do show on disk. And for this, I'd have some type of thing like GIMP or, I mean, you could even do this in Paint, really. I'll do it in Paint since pretty much everyone will have Paint. But GIMP would work better. So basically, here's your mini-map. And we want to make it so that way we can basically just only have this part. We want to omit the black part. It's not really important. So we'll just highlight over this. We'll drag it over here into the corner. We'll go ahead and we'll just resize this. Tutorial 8.jpg. So there's our mini-map. You can see it right there. Again, you do not want the barracks, the refinery, the comm vehicles in there. Do not want that. You do want the flags though. That is good. The props can stay. Terrain variations, etc., will work out. So what we want to do now is you're going to need to download this tool called VTF Edit. I'll have a link down in the description as well. You're going to go ahead, open this, and you're going to want to go over here to File, click Import, navigate to your named minimap. So here it is, tutorial 8. Just click OK. None of this is really important right now. So then it'll open it up in here, and this is what's going to create the Valve texture, because Valve is very specific on what textures it wants. So it's going to come up here, click Save As, and this will save it as a Valve texture file, which is super important. We're just going to save this as tutorial 8. You'll see it wants to default to JPEG, but we want .vtf, so save that. It'll come up as this weird girl wanting to, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. And then you're going to want to come up here to Tools as well and click Create VMT File. Now you'll notice it'll have this directory right here. You'll need to change that later on, but for now just go ahead and click Create. Then you have both of your tutorials right here. hammer tutorial 8, and then hammer tutorial 8. It doesn't have to, but it's for simplicity's sake. So here you have your valve texture file, and here you have your VMT, which is the material file telling it what it needs to have. You need to create a .res file. So for this, you should use Notepad++. It's free. I'll have a link down in the description for that as well. And I'll have an example such as this mtutorial8.res for download as well. So the resources here, just name it. It needs to be named resources. And then this is a commented outline indicated by the double backslash. You can put anything here. It won't read it. It's just for anyone who opens this to read it can read it. So you see this. I just took this from my forest attack map. You'll see con forest attack A2 under maps. So this is the BSP and the .res file. It references itself. This is what tells the server what to give to the users to download. And we're just going to set it up now to have a minimap. So we're going to go ahead and name this hammer tutorial 8. I'll get more into the .res file later. However, for right now, this is all we really need to do. And then here's the materials. Here is hammer tutorial 8. And then we also need to make a .text file here in a minute. Hammer tutorial 8. There's materials, then scroll all the way down to maps. And then in this folder, you can see here the mini maps for all of these maps. So there's beachfront. Here's Batos. Oops, Steam decided to open. There's Batos. Boo House, which is just an eye. So yeah, from here we'll just, all you have to do is drag in hammer tutorial 8 into the maps folder. Make sure it doesn't go into any of these folders. I'll go more into, these are specific textures for the maps. I'll go into how to make textures later on. But for right now, all we're going to do is make the mini map with the VTF edit. So with that made, now we can go all the way back to the we actually need to click on the valve material file. And you should just open up one of these other valve material mini maps here. So just a VMT file, and then just highlight this and put it in here. It has to be unlit generic, otherwise it will freak out. And then just go ahead, change this to hammer tutorial 8, and then save it. There you go. The minimap should now kind of work. We do need to set up one more thing before it will work. So we'll click on resources, go to maps, and just go ahead and copy any of these really. Not the template. Oddly enough, the template is screwed up. So we're just going to go ahead and let's go in here. And then we want to, so we need to name this hammer tutorial 8. And we need to change where the image is called upon. So this is in the materials directory. It's calling maps. So it's hammer tutorial 8. So then we've got to save this as hammer tutorial 8. Just save it on the desktop. And then go ahead, drag hammer tutorial 8 into here, and then we have to go back into 4 by 1024. That shouldn't be really that important. However, next we're going to go into the upper and lower bounds of the map. Go into empires if Steam decides it wants to work. Been having a lot of trouble with Steam lately, but whatever. Go back into Steam real quick. But yeah, so here's the sector width. Sector width is the grid squares on the map. Basically just fiddle around with that and you can see how the grid squares change. You'll have to relaunch your game every time. At least I have had to. So we'll just go back into here. One last thing, the .res file that you made. So for we have to save this as hammer tutorial 8, not emp tutorial 8. Make sure to save it not as a normal text file, but as all types, and then add .res. Do not have capital letters, as that is very bad. Linux does not like that. So here we are. We'll just drag that, go in here, go to the maps folder, and look for Hammer Tutorial 8. Should be at the very bottom because it's alphabetical. Just drag this in here. And there we go. Hammer Tutorial 8. So then we'll go in here. The minimap might look a little off, or it might not be working yet because we have not finished setting it up. But we'll do that right now. Okay, so there's the minimap. As you can see, it looks a little weird. Traditionally for a map, especially one that's not a square, or one that is a square, sorry, you'll want to come up here to the edge of the map. So this little corner right here, get as close to it as you can, and then type status into the console. Now you need to write down or just remember these values. So 1026 for the X, and then we need to navigate to this. So this would be, sorry, so yeah, you'll notice that the cursor is not lining up with the map. It does line up with the comm vehicle, but that's because it's not a static object. As you can see up in the top right there, the comm vehicle was taken in the minimap. Don't do that. But so we need to get the top left and the bottom right. So my apologies, you need to come over here to the top left corner of the map. Click, type in status. Then remember these values. So negative 2047 for the X. So top left, negative 2047. Then the Y was 3579. And then you don't need to worry about the Z at all. 3579. Then you need to do the same thing with the bottom right corner of the map. So just fly over here real quick. Type status. Then 1014 for the bottom right, X. And then that was negative 1046 for the Y. Ooh, that closed. Negative 1046. Negative 1046. Alright, so we can go. And we just want to make sure it's saved. You can do Control S to save it, but you'll need to double click on it. And those were the values that we put in. So now we should be able to disconnect from this. Create a server, Hammer Tutorial 8, and the map. As I said, you might have to load it back up. Create the server again, join spectate, and the map should be working correctly. So you'll notice, yep, there we go. So here we're off the map, minimap now, and we're out of bounds. There is the comm vehicle on the minimap and the comm vehicle in game. The flags are now showing up correctly, and it'll show who owns them. This isn't really in the minimap. I'll go over optimization next, just basics of it. We'll go over that. Refinery showing up as a money sign, and the barracks is showing up as barracks. The BE comm is there, and the VF would show up when you place it. But yeah, that's the basics of a minimap. So if you're doing an indoors map as well, and you have textures, so you want it to be able, so like when you look up like this, you want to be able to see the roof. However, if you look down, you can't see through it. So if you're doing an indoor map where they'll never see the roofs, go ahead and make it so that way the top here is a no draw texture, because then you can see through, but they can't see through while looking up. It'll allow commanders to be able to command people around while underground and everything. But that's only if players can't see the top from a non-comm view. And I'll show you one other thing that you'll need to do. So before you actually, I need to navigate to Steam real quick. So we'll need to go to, so wherever you saved the screenshot to, Steam is for some reason glitching out again. So basically for a minimap to show up, yeah, here we'll just edit this. One other thing, or there it is, that you'll need to do is you will have to manually go in and edit the refineries. So say we want a refinery point here, we're just going to make a nice yellow dot. And then if it's a ×2 refinery, just write ×2 right by it, or ×3, ×4, etc. because that normally doesn't show up on the map. You have to manually edit it. Same thing for water. Say we filled this little crater right here with water. We'd have to go ahead and we'd have to fill that in manually. Again, GIMP or Photoshop works better for doing this because you can just layer it and then erase the layer. But if you have to, you can go in and manually draw it with paint. So yeah, there's some water indicated, and then you'd be in the water when you get in the water. You just have to have kind of a rough about, because usually it doesn't need to be exactly specific, but the more close you are, the better. But again, you need to not have buildings on here, and you need to write in the refinery gains. Then you just go ahead and save that, and then you'd go in, make the VTF of it again, go in, edit the VMT when you're under empires, materials, maps. Oops. You'd go ahead and then you'd edit the VMT here and make sure it is this path and has all of these values. So that should be it. Thank you for watching. And just to cover what we did again, we went over how to make a minimap, how to make the .res file, how to make the .text file, and how to edit the texture so that, or how to edit the minimap so that way it has refinery locations marked, and how to make one for an indoors map as well. So thank you for watching.